Alright, what are we doing?
We are painting my stock MK5 GTI rims.
So, this is a first for Morris Modified. We've never actually painted rims before. So not being too pedantic with these rims, we're just sort of getting the inside painted at least darker than what it is, so it doesn't stand out too much on the front surface. The front surface we'll definitely be spending a lot more time on. But yeah, as we've had a bit of experience on painting other components on cars, it's all in the preparation. So obviously we spent more time on this rim and less time on this rim. But doesn't really matter. We're only focusing on the fronts mainly, so yeah.
The trial.
So John's had a bit of experience in an electrical trade, painting
electrical generators and panels and all that.
Yep. And obviously other surfaces require a bit more preparation, but yeah, we'll just see how these goes. So Jordan does have rims on the way, hopefully soon, but yeah, not for a while. So we'll see how these go for now, and at least we're getting a bit of practice as we go, because we may do this to the soarer. As you see, the soarer rims are looking a bit aged and definitely need a bit of a freshen up. So bit of practice on the MK5 and we'll see how she turns out. So anyway, stay tuned to see the end result. All right, so we are not sure whether you should really be doing this after painting anything, but we are using a hairdryer just to put a bit of heat on top of the paint. It is working. It seems to be touch dry on the outer layers anyway. We're not sure about obviously the undercoats, but we're trying to speed it up. As it says on the can, you're not supposed to paint in humid conditions or temperatures below 20 degrees, and it will get below 20 degrees tonight, so we're looking to try and speed this up a little bit. And so far it looks like the hairdryer is working, just a bit of heat, nothing too crazy, but we'll see how we go within the next few minutes. But so far we are pretty happy with how these rims are turning out, so we'll see how it goes. So whenever you're putting wheel nuts, whenever you're putting wheel nuts on studs, or like European designs, lug bolts, always start them first. Don't just grab your rattle gun. Some people make the mistake, never seen it before, this is how you cross thread your wheels. They'll put it on and they'll bring it in and nah, that's how you're going to stuff them. So always, especially on rims, you really want to look after. Take your time. Start them, make sure that they've caught the thread like these have. We're ready to go. Then you can start the job and finish her off. And last, our lock nut. So I don't always trust power tools. I like to truck everything over with a bar. Make sure that it's tight. It might sound like it's doing the job, but you might come around and recheck and all of a sudden they're all loose again. The finishing touch, you got center caps. as you can see, we're pretty happy with the results. This was obviously not a tutorial, so the next segment when we actually do wheels on the soarer will be our tutorial. So this was just sort of a mock-up, see how we go, see what we think. Obviously we still got to see how it goes over the next few days, few weeks, if it holds up. Jordan did a pretty good job, so to tell you what we really use here. Oh, you can talk about it. So what do you use?
So yeah, we used 800 grit sandpaper to start off with. Yeah, I hit it with the primer. I did about just 1 or 2 coats of that, and then after about an hour or two, I hit it with the gloss black paint. I did about 3 to 4 coats of that. 5 minutes between coats, and then I let that dry for about 2 hours, an hour and a half, and then I hit it with the 3 to 4 coats of the clear coat. Turned out pretty well.
So to get it done, speed it up, we used the heat gun obviously. We were a bit worried about how that would go. And thankfully, bloody absolutely dry. So you want to give it usually 24 hours before you actually cut and polish it. You do want to polish it, and he will have to polish it tomorrow. But we're pretty happy with the results, and as you can see from the video, it was looking pretty good. So successful so far. So as you can see next to the car here, we have a new bar and plate intercooler to replace the tube and fin standard intercooler that comes on these GTIs. Now those intercoolers are fine for the first probably 60,000 kilometers, but they fill with oil very, very quickly. And by that time, they're actually pretty much useless. So not only that, they also have crimp fittings. These are welded fittings, as you can see. And those crimp fittings actually leak pressure over a course of, well, they actually leak pressure quite quickly, and most manufactured cars then use these style intercoolers. So they're cheap, they work for the very first, probably a few years you own the car, but then after a while you'll leak PSI, and if you don't have a boost pressure gauge, you won't know you're losing power, but 1 PSI is a lot of power, so you're down 1 PSI, you'll feel it, and you can see it on your gauge. So we definitely want to upgrade this. This is to actually go with the new APR Stage 2 tune. We've been grandfathered into the system before it was actually made illegal. So I think it was around September last year, no more Stage 2 from APR. We thankfully got in there early, or quickly enough to actually be grandfathered into the system. So the car is actually tuned now as updated to Stage 2, which is to go with the downpipe. It also raises the boost to 25 PSI, so we're running a bit more boost, it spills quicker, and there's definitely a lot more power there. So most people don't understand the stages, but the stages, that's Stage 2. So the next, after this intercooler, will be high pressure fuel pump. Obviously running more fuel, more boost, everything will get more power. So yeah, that's the intercooler. We'll also be complementing the new rim and colour with a lowering kit. So this is obviously not the best on the market. We would love to go with KW, but Jordan is in desperate need of shocks. You probably hear in a couple of videos it does knock, and that's actually the rear shocks failing. They're actually knocking internally. I guess there's probably an air cavity in there or something else. I'm not really quite sure, but something's going on in those shocks and they need to be replaced. So we've gone with quite an affordable kit. It's what's the brand? Max
Speeding rods.
It's Max Speed. A lot of people have heard of them. They're a cheaper brand, but a more affordable brand. We'll be running these hopefully as long as they can go for them. Once they fail, then we'll hopefully upgrade to KW. So obviously not everyone has big dollars, we don't at the moment, but this will get us by for now and achieve the look we're going for. So that's our Mark 5 for now, but that's right, there is one last thing that we'll be doing to the rear to sort of give us a bit more noise and a bit more updated look. So